With me today is our new correspondent. He was at the Roki Sasaki press conference, king of TikTok and Instagram, the king of smack talking catchers in adult baseball. My compadre at Rancho Cucamonga Quakes games, the one and only Pete Soto. Welcome aboard, Pete.
Yeah, Tim, thanks for having me. I appreciate you, giving me access to, some Dodger events. Even though I'm not a Dodger fan, but I do appreciate the coverage. And one thing about me, I love talking baseball. A lot of people think I hate the Dodgers, but I actually, it's not so much of a hate. It's like I admire what they're doing, and I like envy them because I want the Angels to do the same thing. But yeah, I appreciate you having me on. The Roki Sasaki press conference was amazing. It was everything I dreamed of. I usually just see the press conferences on live on TV and like recaps, but seeing it in person was definitely something special. So I do appreciate you having me out there and representing you guys.
Yeah, that's cool. And hey, it's good. You're the second guy that I got as an Angels fan, on my staff.
Yeah, yeah, I
Got
know.
Ryan. Ryan
Yeah,
Follow.
Ryan's a great guy too. I love Ryan.
I got to catch up with Ryan, man. Ryan, the rock star, man.
Yeah, I
He's
know.
always in the studio and stuff. But so when I get non-Dodger guys around, I get I get the non-fanboy opinion, which is good. Instead, a little bit more objectivity than you know some of us Dodger fans can. I can be objective sometimes, but I tell you,
Yeah,
sometimes
100%. Yeah, no, I hear you on that too. I'm the same way with my Angels. Like
yeah.
I'm like I try to sugarcoat things when I shouldn't, and I'm just like let's just be real here, Pete. You know what I mean? Like you be real with yourself. But yeah, I know I hear you on that.
Well, I'm sure you saw it. Of course, Tim Anderson signed with the Angels today, and I was thinking, oh, he sucks. But then I'm thinking, then I saw something. Someone made a really good point. Ron Washington.
Yeah,
Ron Washington can make, you know, he
he's
that
the glove guru. You know what I
yeah.
mean? You got to watch out for Ron. He one thing he does know how to do is teach people how to field, and you know what I mean. I think there was that one video of him in I don't know if it was Pete Alonso or Freddie Freeman at the All Star game where he was hitting ground balls to
Yeah.
the first baseman and just getting work in. Like he's always working with infielders, and that's one thing I love about Ron.
Yeah, during when you go to early to the Dodger games, he's Dino Ebel's out there doing those same type of
Yeah,
things, just hitting those things because and Freddie brought that because that's what Ron Washington did in Atlanta for him. So he goes, "Hey, I want the same thing." So making Dino work a little bit more.
yeah, I love Dino. Dino's a former Angel too, man.
Yeah.
I was bummed when he left us, but yeah,
Yeah, and so I mean, things definitely or go through. You go through those changes of the different. Yeah, all the favorites you've got. I
yeah.
mean, sure, your favorite as a kid is long gone from the Angels. I
Oh
know.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, now I'm getting to the point where my heroes are dying. That sucks, man.
Yeah,
Um, but so let's talk about what you saw today. So real quick, as everyone knows, Dodger Blue and Bleed Los and Dodgers Nation, they got all the content out there of the press conferences and all that. And if you listen to Stan Caston's one real close, you'll hear Pete even inside asking a question. But what I want to talk about more is the experience that you saw and just kind of being there, who you saw, what you did,
yeah.
who
So
you hung out with, stuff.
I actually got there 30 minutes before the gates opened because I kind of wanted to be the first because I assumed it was gonna be a packed house. Um, so I got there early. I was one of the first ones in. Set up my stuff, my camera. I went with two angles. One where like all the camera crew is at, where like a lot of Dodger fans were watching on TV. That's where kind of like my camera was. And that's like that one video that I posted with you and Soto
Mm,
Sports.
yeah.
Um, and then there was another camera angle where I was sitting at. Um, I mean, it was great. One thing I did kind of notice, I felt like he was really nervous.
It sounded like I was listening to it
Uh
on the
huh.
way home, and it sounded like he was doing the Japanese equivalent of.
Yeah.
A lot of uhs and even some deep breathing, it felt like.
No, yeah, no, I was watching him, and I think it just goes like just like a universal thing, but he was like very like long pauses, like you
Yeah.
could tell he was nervous, but I don't think it was like a nervous like, oh, I'm nervous, like I'm here. I think it was like a nervous like there's all these people in front of me, and
Mhm.
like I'm like he's coming from Japan to the U.S. and it's like it's a really big change, and he wants to make sure he impresses everybody, and he wants to make sure that because first impressions do matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I think when he was reading off his opening statement, which was very powerful, that's one thing. Like, I'm not a Dodger fan, but that spoke, I mean, many words to me. Um, but yeah, that's one thing I really saw. Um, yeah, there were, like I said, there was a lot of people there. I seen a
Yeah.
lot of reporters that I see on social media that you don't normally see at like baseball games because they're like usually up in the press box.
Right.
Um, I met I think it was the Dodgers CEO.
Oh,
Was that him? The
Stan
one that,
Kasten?
yeah, was
Oh,
that,
yeah, that's
yeah,
Stan. Yeah, he's the big boss. He's the guy that was kind of the head of the ownership group, but he's not an owner, but
he's
he's
like in
like
the ownership group though, right?
well, he's just in charge. He's Andrew Friedman's boss, so he's
Got it.
in
Yeah. So
charge of
I talked to
everything.
him today. I only got like one question because I wanted to see what his thoughts were on a salary cap and a salary floor.
Yeah,
Um, and I think he kind of said, yeah, that question is not really for me. It's more of a MLB or something like that.
yeah.
Something
Lowe's,
along
he
those
said
lines.
labor.
Yeah,
Something
I
about
think
labor.
yeah, it's like labor law or
Yeah,
something along those lines. And I was like, okay,
he was ducking and weaving, man.
yeah, I think he was just trying to dodge the question.
I would too.
Um, I really wanted to ask Roki a question, but I was really nervous. Um, I really wanted to ask him, like, has he tried In and Out?
And then later, Kirsten Watson's
Yes,
asking
dude.
that question. Oh
I
my
know. You're
gosh.
telling me. I literally text. I think I sent a message to my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Blake Harris.
Yep.
He tweeted out during the interview. Kirsten from Sportsnet LA asked Roki. He wants to find out the best burger in town. And I
Right.
literally texted my girlfriend, and I was like, "Man, I should have asked the question. I knew it, but
Dang it.
it was just like it was just so serious because like you're there, and it's like it's a very serious manner, and I just don't want to be like, yeah, so what's your like, have you tried In and Out, or what's your favorite burger, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
so there was a point in time where at the press conference they were asking about his socks and the dogs, and I
Oh
was
yeah.
like, man, this is a great opportunity. They're talking about socks, they're having a little fun with it. I think I'm gonna ask, and then they went to the Japanese media. Like that, I
Oh
think that was the last question.
shoot.
So it was more just like me waiting for like the right moment because there was like three questions where I was like, oh yeah, what led up to your decision?
Yeah.
What did Otani and Yamamoto have to say, or how did you let them know? So they were all very serious questions,
Yeah.
and I think the last question that they took was the sock one about the dog.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang, like if I would have asked that, like I know for sure, because so one thing that like I usually plan for, like I usually just want to get like one video that I know for sure that will go viral and get a
Right.
lot picked up. And I felt
Mhm.
like that question right there, if I would have just asked it and some like I know for sure like there would have been a lot of people laughing, and he
Right.
would have laughed, and it would have just got picked up everywhere. And like
Yeah.
I could have just seen the headlines. Oh, reporter asks Roki Sasaki if he likes In and Out, or has he tried In and Out?
Yeah.
So because I remember last year at the I think that's one question I'll ask probably at the fan fest when I go.
Yep.
Um, if he actually, let me follow up on the question: has he found the best burger in town?
Right.
Because
Yeah. What have you tried?
yeah, I know last year they asked Otani that.
Oh, okay.
He said In and Out. So fingers crossed. Don't worry, I'm gonna get that answer pretty soon. Um,
Week and a half, man.
Yeah, I know. I'm counting the days down. One thing I really like. So after when the press conference was done, um, there were like little areas where you can talk to and like do like little interviews with
Yeah.
each individual person, right? One person who I really wanted to talk to was Dave Roberts.
Yeah.
But he wasn't there for some reason. He probably had somewhere else to be, or I didn't want to hold him back or anything like that. But yeah, I really wanted to ask him, what is his plan? Like, how does he feel about like I can only imagine he probably feels like a kid on Christmas Day opening up all these big gifts. Like tell me how you feel about that. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, can I see your Christmas list? What was your Christmas list like?
He read, so he actually made his Christmas list on Mookie's podcast.
Oh, really?
And he said, and he was going, well, I definitely want a reliever with a lot of playoff experience who's poking at Trinan. Then he goes, and I'd like to have another closer or another reliever. And then he goes, I'd really like a starting pitcher. And then he goes, and I'd really like to have like this outfielder from maybe the Dominican Republic who hit some home runs in the playoffs, talking about Teo. And then someone, I can't remember who was it, did the video and they go, Trinan, check. Tanner Scott, check. And then, Blake Snell, check.
Yeah.
And then they threw Roki in there, just another one. Then they threw Teoscar.
You know who I think is a sneaky pickup for the Dodgers, and that's another reason why I just wanted is Kirby Yates. Is that his name?
Yeah.
That's a sneaky pick. I was when they signed him, I was like, man, like I didn't realize this guy had that good of a year. But it's because he was on the Rangers.
Right. Yeah, and they for some reason, obviously fell back from what they were the year before. But yeah, I had actually talked about him quite a bit because I didn't think the Dodgers would get Tanner Scott. I got to be honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that one, I for sure thought he was just gonna go East Coast. I didn't think he was gonna come anywhere this way.
Yeah. It was crazy, man.
Yeah, Dodgers are gonna Dodger though, man. I mean, yeah, I just really wanted to ask him, like, man, like, have you? I mean, I'm assuming you've been good all year. I mean, Christmas in January, like, man, like, you got all these new toys. I mean, I wonder what coaches around the league like text you, like, hey, man, like, can you stop it? Like, do you get texts? Do you get texts like that from like staff around the league, or you know what I mean? But one cool thing that I thought was actually hilarious. Ohtani beat out, I guess the whole GM, the whole party about telling everybody that we got Yamamoto or not Yamamoto,
Sasaki,
Roki. And I thought that was hilarious. Like, can you just imagine like a group chat like of all three of them? Like, yeah, we got him. Or like, I don't know. Like to me, like I'm in a group chat of, like me and the boys, and like, hey, yeah, we got him or something like that. I thought it was very cool. It's crazy how like baseball's like you look at baseball players and you think like they're just superstars, right?
Right.
But in reality, they're just big kids. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
It's among like texting each other, like, yeah, we got this guy. You know what I mean? So I thought that was very cool.
And I think that's a really good point. They seem so big, and then you see them on the big stage and they perform and all that. But you've been in the locker room, you've seen it. They're just dudes.
Yeah, 100%.
They're just going okay. Like at spring training or even during the season, they'll go. There's always a stack of like a crossword puzzle or something.
Yeah.
And half of them will grab it, and they just go do that. And then a few of them they're just sitting there on their phones, right?
Yeah.
Just probably checking your Instagram and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
probably the pitchers. The pitchers are always just on their phone because they got nothing else better to do.
Yeah. But, no. Whenever I go up to talk to someone, they're almost always on their phone. It's like, hey, you got a second?
Yeah. And then another question I wanted to ask, and I thought it'd do pretty well. I was like, yeah, well, what did you guys do when TikTok was down for 12 hours? You know what I mean? Like, I think that would have been hilarious if I was to ask Andrew or, so. But I just got nervous. I
know.
It's just, I just don't want to mess anything up and, them be like, yeah, you can't ask that question. Or, you know what I mean? Like,
I know. Yeah.
So
Last year, I had this almost the same thing with Shohei's thing.
mhm.
So the first few questions were serious. There's one lady who actually asked a very weird, easy question today. You asked a nasty question of Shohei last time, basically accusing him. It seemed like of faking his injury.
No way.
Yeah, it was bad. I didn't like it at all. Didn't appreciate it at all. But I kept going, man. The question to ask him right now, what's your dog's name?
Yeah.
No one knew what it was, and so I was trying to get up like you, trying to get up that courage, and then Kyle Kraska from used to be from San Diego. He gets up and asks the question, man, and that's the question everyone wanted to know. Everyone knew the rest of the
Yeah,
question.
but you
The
see,
answer.
but you know what it is? I think every reporter, because I was next to Doug and I was next to another guy too, and I was just watching them. They didn't ask no questions either. But
Yeah,
you know what I think it is? I just think they're afraid of asking the wrong question, and because in a sense these are their jobs, right? You know what I mean? You don't want to get in
right.
trouble. You know what I mean? So you keep it professional, obviously, but have a little fun. But I wish there was like a little, I guess, like kind of like, okay, yeah, you can ask like a couple fun questions. You know what I mean? Like have some fun with it. It's
I know.
baseball. Um, but yeah, I feel like somebody just has to break the barrier of like
I
asking
know.
those questions.
But like Doug will do that when he's got a player by himself.
Mm,
He'll go serious and all that type of stuff, and then he'll start asking the other stuff. And even when I interview guys, the minor league guys, I usually I'll start working in food stuff, and I'll usually answer In and Out or Whataburger, and or something like that, or what's your favorite this and all that type of stuff. I mean, all the Venezuelan guys, without fail, Chipotle, except I think it was Diego Cartaya. Didn't he had something else, but that's just I like to ask those questions. I think those are the things that people kind of want to hear to get back to what you said earlier. They're human.
yeah, exactly. And that's how one thing about me, like, don't get me wrong, like, I do want to know like what Yamamoto and what Otani were thinking, or I do want to know his thought process. But at the same time, like I really just want to get to know the guy. You know
Yep.
what I mean? I feel like a lot of baseball players are kind of like shielded and don't really want you know what I mean. But I feel like these guys get asked so many questions, and sometimes they just they want somebody to ask them like
I know.
a fun question, where it's not about their job or stuff like that.
Well, because they're asked a lot of the same questions.
Oh yeah, yeah, and that's another thing too. That's so today. I think I heard. I think there was like two questions where, oh well, what was your thought process, or why did you want to choose the Dodgers and not other
Yeah,
teams? And they just kept on rewording it and
and
tried
he'd
to like,
answered the thing. He'd said, what did he say? It was a place to grow or something like that.
yeah, yeah, a better place
With
to live.
the front office stability or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And there was another question that was being asked about like the player homework or something like that. I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah. Fabian Ardaya asked that because he wrote the article in the Athletic about that. He's the one that kind of broke that whole thing open. And so yeah, Yamamoto after the first meeting, I think it was after the first meeting, gave them homework assignments. Or maybe it was before their first meeting. Hey, how do I, which is really slick to go, hey, tell me how to fix myself. Go to all these meetings. What if he would have went right back to Japan?
Yeah,
Hey,
it's
wait, I'm
that's
throwing
one thing.
103
That's
again.
one thing I thought though. I thought which was very unique about him.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because yeah, he said he wants to grow as a player, right?
Mm-hmm.
But him asking that and asking for feedback from teams, I think he just wants to know, like, hey, like, um, you know, let's say the Blue Jays have a certain way of doing things, right? Each team has a different way of doing things, right?
Yeah.
And it's all about like feeling comfortable. You know what I mean? Maybe it was just like he said, it's I feel better to grow, and the Dodgers, the way they do things, yeah, I'm comfortable with that. Maybe it's all about like feel. That's like
Right.
me being a baseball player. Like I gotta feel comfortable. If I'm not comfortable, I'm not gonna want to do it. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
uh, that whole thing of wanting to grow, like I like that a lot from him.
Did you in your playing career that you've had? I mean, have you ever played with for like a manager that you know was a really good one, but wasn't good for you?
Yeah, all the time. Yeah, so
See, yeah,
there was I think one in kind of like college,
mm-hmm.
because we had two head coaches. My first year and then the second year when the guy got a different position somewhere else. He was a great coach, but it wasn't just for me. Like it
Yeah,
wasn't for me. You know what I mean? Like the way he taught things, like it just didn't work out. You know what I mean? You like, I guess you could kind of go with like kind of like Dave Roberts, right? He's a player's coach.
right.
He's one like I do, like maybe I don't watch enough Dodger games, but when I see people like, oh, Dave Roberts needs to go, and I'm just like, dude, I don't get how you can say it. This guy's like, I look at him, I want Dave because he's a player's coach. Like you look at you look when the camera pans to the dugout, there's somebody always next to him. There's a player always next to him
Yeah,
all the time. There's somebody, Kershaw's right there next to him with the baseball asking him questions. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Or Kike's right there next to him, or Mookie's right there. Like he always has a player next to him, and he's always smart. Like he's a player's coach, and like that's why I wanted to talk to him today. Like I
yeah,
just really wanted to like kind of like pick his brain, and kind of get to know him a little bit more as a person. Because whenever I see him, I'm just like, man, dude, like this guy just gets these guys to perform better. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, the Dodgers are very talented, but I feel like Dave gets these guys to play at a different level because the way he is,
mhm.
if that makes sense.
It absolutely does. I first met Dave Roberts. I'm going to say 2017 or 2018. I think it was 2018. At a high school down here. I was going to watch some kids I used to coach from Little League. And I knew that Doc's kid was on the other team, but it's in the middle of the season. I'm not
Yeah,
expecting him to be there, but he was there. And a friend of mine he was driving Doc's son all around, introduced me to him. And to be honest, I was kind of blown away just by his personality. Even though he's like 3 inches shorter than I am, he's a king, man.
yeah,
He really is. He has a huge presence about him.
100%. And yeah, exactly. Like I felt the same way.
And he's also the best, to be honest, when you're doing those pregame things and he's in the dugout and people are asking the questions of, and then Doc, he's got the loudest voice. So
Yeah,
you don't need stick your mic right too far
yeah,
in,
yeah.
He's he's got a very booming voice,
No, 100%.
but that I mean, really, to be honest, it sounded like if they would have lost game 4 against the Padres, he would have been gone.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
then now he's manager for as long as he wants.
Yeah, he's there for a good while, like a
Yeah.
long time, I think.
I mean,
I,
I mean, Socia by winning the World Series in 2002.
Oh, it bought him like 8 years,
Yeah.
9 more years.
Yeah.
Trust me. Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
and he's done it twice.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So he's like one thing about Roberts, like I don't think the average fan understands of like how hard it is to win, especially in like the MLB,
Yeah.
because you have so many good guys. Like the thing about baseball is when teams get hot, they get hot. It doesn't matter. You can be the worst team in baseball, but once you
Mhm.
get hot, things happen. Baseball is so unique where anything can happen. You know what I mean? And you look at the
Yeah.
Yankees. The Yankees, I mean that inning when they were down, when the Yankees were up 5-0, anything
Oh
can
my
happen.
gosh.
You know what I mean? That looked like it was going to a game. What is it? Game
It
6.
would have been game 6. Yeah.
If it was a game, like you know what I mean, baseball is so unique and like anything, and you know what I mean. It's just anything can happen, and you know,
No, I mean, we saw it in 2022 and 2023 in the playoffs.
yeah,
Dodgers were clearly, especially in 2022, they were 22 games ahead of the Padres. But look what happened.
yeah.
It's just baseball. It's a hard game. It's
No,
a
it's so hard. It's so hard,
and
and
mentally.
that's another thing too. When I see all these people say, oh, like the Dodgers are buying rings and they're buying their players, and they're trying to buy a championship. Yeah, they can do that all they want. That's fine, but when you step on that field, that doesn't mean anything. You still got to perform.
Yeah, exactly.
You still got to show up and play a full 9 innings.
Mm-hmm.
You still got to go up there and score one run. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like baseball is unique. Anything can happen. You know what I mean? I mean, the one thing I always look back to is the Nationals season when they had
Mm-hmm.
when they went on that like crazy run.
Yep.
I think it was 2019 or something like that.
Yeah, they're a wild card.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like anything can happen. Like just because
Yeah.
just because you're favorite and you're the best team in baseball, you have all these guys. It does not mean anything once you step on that field. It
Yep.
doesn't mean anything. And you can ask like any major league player on the other side. Like it doesn't mean nothing. You still got to show up and play. Yeah, the other team's gonna have maybe a better advantage. Sure, but that shouldn't stop you from, playing your hardest and giving it all you got. You know what
I
I mean?
agree. And as Dodger fans, on our side, it's very strange, obviously, to go, oh, why are we getting all these players? It really is, because some of us we're there from McCourt, where he turned down a trade in 2008 for CC Sabathia. He blocked a trade that would have possibly given gotten the Dodgers a better chance at winning the World Series in 2008. I mean, that dude was so good back then.
Yeah.
He goes to Milwaukee and almost carries them to that.
Yeah.
But to go, hey, I'm one of those. You can never have, as people know, you can never have enough pitching. You can never have enough talent.
Yeah.
But all that does is give you a little more. It gives you more talent, but it doesn't give. There's no guarantees with it.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean, because I know people are going to go, oh, Dodgers are going to be such a disappointment if they lose. You know what? If they go out and ball out and play to their best and someone else beats them, that is what it is.
Yeah.
It's when they don't. Like in 2023, 2022. But in 2021, like they lost the Braves. They had all the talent, but they had some bad luck, and they just kind of ran out of gas, and the Braves were hot. They were just a better team at that point. So I don't really begrudge that, but yeah, it's man. So can you imagine 162 games a year? Then you got to go.
I know.
It all comes down to a 5-game series. I swear. I mean, that Padre series. I don't think I've told you this, but I was at the game 5, and when the Dodgers were at the plate, my heart rate was at 100.
Jeez.
When the Padres were at the plate, it was at 120. No joke.
Oof.
That was how stressful that was.
Yeah. I will say that Padres and Dodgers series was way better than the World Series.
Yeah, it was
way better.
And the NLCS.
I don't care what anybody says. Like, don't get me wrong. I feel like Game 1 was the best of the World Series. After that, it was just a cakewalk. I feel like once I seen Freddie do what he did, I was like, yeah, this is over. Like, I don't need to watch the next 6 games or 4 games. Like, I've seen enough. These guys, nobody does that. Nobody does that and goes on and lose the World Series. I don't care what you say. Like,
no, it's like Kirk Gibson was the same thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you look at that and you're just like, yeah, like, you're gonna sit here and tell me, yeah, these guys are gonna lose the World Series after just hitting a walk-off grand slam with a guy who has a bad ankle? Like, bro, no chance. Like, get out of here.
He also had some type of rib issue too, man.
Yeah.
That dude's insane.
Yeah.
But again, the year before against the Diamondbacks, I think he had 1 hit.
Yeah.
In the whole series, and Mookie had 0. I think.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they were riding Mookie hard.
Yeah.
Hard. Yeah, I trust me. I see it all the time. Like, man, give a guy some slack a little bit.
He did. Hey, all credit to Mookie. He stepped up. I mean,
yeah, he did. Yeah.
That's what, and I like to see those redemptive arcs of players.
Yeah.
They go, oh, they've been so bad, and then all of a sudden
It's so refreshing to just see them come through.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know the type of player they are. You know what I mean? And like, I can only imagine how it feels for them.
Right.
When they finally come through it. Because you know what it is? It's just like, it's mental. That's all it is. You're just pressing a little too much. You're trying to do too much, and on top of that, you're on the biggest stage with the biggest team against the biggest team, and then add in like the media coverage that you're getting. I mean, you're telling me he doesn't look on Twitter and like sees all these stuff, or
Oh yeah.
his family is like sending him stuff, like
Or not even talking to him.
yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? It's like you know what I mean? It's just a big old weight on your shoulders, and then when you finally come through, you're just like, man, I can finally play a
Yeah.
baseball game. I've been doing this my whole life. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Well, any other interesting things that you can recall from today?
Yeah. Do they normally not put on their hats after a press conference? See, so
I've seen both. I think
what
I
I
thought
normally
Snell put on his hat.
yeah, what I normally see is they get the jersey on and they put on their hat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right at that moment. But I've been seeing some kind of trend where it's like they just put on the jersey and that's about it. And then after when it's all said and done, when they're going to take pictures, they put on their hat and then they just take it off.
Huh.
I got to look into that. I got to ask like a couple players, like,
What's
are you
going on?
guys like a more hat on for the press conference, or are we doing hat off? Like, what's is there superstitious or what's going on? But
Maybe they got dinner dates afterwards or something like that. They don't want to
yeah, I mean that's one
do
thing
their
I
hair
noticed.
again. I don't know.
But he's so tall.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen the pictures.
I was noticing that
Dude,
because
he's a unit.
I'd heard 6'4", but then I see the videos. And I'm like, he doesn't look tall.
No, him next to Andrew Freeman.
Yeah.
Unit. Oh my god, dude, he's huge. And he has like long legs. I'm just like, dude, this guy's like ginormous.
It's gonna be kind of I'm interested to see him because he's got such a baby face too, man.
I'm interested oh yes. Dude, he looks like a kid up there. How old is he, by the way?
23.
Dude, he's so young.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. He looked nervous up there, but I can understand why. A 23-year-old, you're coming from Japan, you don't know anything. You just got done meeting with like 5 other teams, and now there's like pressure on you to see if you actually picked the right team.
Yeah.
And now you're getting slammed with all these questions. Like, I'd be nervous too, but dude, he's so huge. Like, I'm curious to see him next to Ohtani.
Right.
Because Ohtani's already huge.
He's 6'5".
Yes.
Right.
But Ohtani's 6'5", built.
Yeah.
Roki is like, he's big, but he's slim.
Yeah.
I just want to see them next to each other in person.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah. I know a couple times I've had Shohei walk past me in the locker room. I think the last time I did get a nod, he actually nodded back, but I'm not sure. Maybe it was at someone else. I'm gonna say it was for me.
Yeah.
He usually ignores us, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's huge.
Yeah.
He walks by, he's like this. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, this guy's obviously different. He's quote, just a pitcher. And I know no matter what, there's going to be pressure on him. But one of my things that I've always felt that the Dodgers had maybe a little advantage, kind of a subtle thing, was if he went to the Padres or the Blue Jays or someone like that, they're going to want him to be the stud right now.
Yeah, see, and then that's one thing too. I think that's one thing that kind of weighed into his decision. Like, he comes here, he doesn't need to be the ace.
Yeah.
They have 4 other aces.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, hey, like, you can be the number 4 here. Like, that's fine. But if you want to, you want to be the best, I mean, we're not going to stop you. But, you don't have to be. We have 3 other guys that can be the number 1. You know what I mean? So I think, that's another. It's not as much pressure.
Yeah, I mean, because it comes sometimes with the way things can spiral with a ball player, right? They go, okay, I got pressure on myself. I got to go out and perform. And let's say there's a nagging injury, just a little nagging thing. They don't say anything. They keep pitching through it.
Yeah.
And then it starts compounding into something way worse.
Yeah.
Versus, hey, you know what, dude? If you can't make the start, we got Tony Gonsolin, we got Landon Knack or someone. We got some other guys to go out there. You don't have to. We already got Yamamoto and all these other guys. Don't worry about it.
No need to press. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm hoping. I mean, because he is obviously taking a huge financial risk.
Oh yeah.
And that's what always breaks my heart. Like when, Gavin Stone, River Ryan, guys like that go down. It's like, these guys haven't gotten paid yet.
Yeah.
They haven't, they're making the rookie thing.
You know what? So what is the difference between Yamamoto and Roki? So
So,
why did Yamamoto get that big huge extension and
yeah,
Roki
it's,
I if it
it's
was
literally an age thing. He was 25. He came here as a free agent to go, and he wasn't subjected to the international limits. So Sasaki, there's these pools for the international players until they're 25. Then when they're 25, all's fair. So yeah, with Yamamoto, the Yankees were offering him 300. The Dodgers obviously offered him quite a bit. A couple other teams offered him a lot, but with Sasaki, he was limited. So the Padres, I think, ended up offering him their pool of 10 million. The Dodgers had was 6.5.
Yeah.
So he took the Dodger offer.
So
And
what? So he's just making league minimum, huh?
I mean, he gets his bonus, but now he is I think the minimum is now 800,000. I mean, hey, we'll take it,
Jesus.
right? Sign
God,
me up
that's
for
such
that
a
all freaking
friggin'
day. I'll be happy to sign a contract right now, lifetime contract.
gosh.
Yeah, but
And he's with them. So it's kind of like the Ohtani deal, like what the Angels
exactly,
got.
yeah. Because remember, Ohtani
Yeah.
he's got a little bit of a bonus,
Yeah.
but his salary was minimum the first year. So that's the difference. And so if Ohtani or Sasaki would have waited 2 more years, they would have come right out and gotten that Yamamoto type money.
That's interesting. I wonder what Ohtani would have got if he would actually just came as a free agent over here.
Oh my gosh.
I wonder.
Oh my gosh. It would have been well, we already saw what he got with this one, um but even coming as an unproven player, I know the Dodgers would have gone all in.
Yeah, because then by that time they would have the DH. I think. See, what I tell my because they always ask me, "Oh, Ohtani always wanted to be a Dodger," and I think he did.
I think he did too. Yeah.
I just think like, yeah, he wanted to. He hates the cold. I don't know if you know that or not. He hates the cold.
I get it.
He hates it. Like,
Yeah.
so I watched him down in Oakland for his like major league debut or something. I don't think it was his major league debut, but he was like blowing into his hands, and I'm looking at the weather and I'm just like 67. That's not cold. That's not cold. But he like so one of my buddies, he's like the clubhouse manager for the Angels, and he would always tell me like, yeah, he hates the cold. Like he like layers up when it's cold.
Yeah.
Because he does not like it, which is like kind of weird. But I think if the DH was universal, he would have been a Dodger.
I agree with that. Yeah. So I mean,
no question about it.
And I know that that was the feeling I had too, because and hey, you know what though, he and I respect what he did because he valued himself more as a player, trying to go, hey, I got to do this two-way thing.
Yeah.
And by doing it, it changed baseball.
Yeah, 100%.
Throughout the world.
Yeah.
Versus if he just, let's say that he would have went to the Dodgers, and he's a pitcher and maybe getting a few pinch hit appearances.
Yeah, like Michael Lorenzen.
Yeah. So it was a huge thing, and now, I mean, you saw it, we see it now. I mean,
yeah, he's winning the MVP next year. I mean, that's no question about it.
He's got to stay healthy, though. I worry about.
So yeah, the one thing from me being an Angels fan and me watching them all the time, just watch out for the blister.
Yeah,
it's always that's literally the reason why he didn't pitch as much with the Angels because of his blister.
Yeah, I've actually been a fan of making him just a reliever.
That's what I say too. Yeah, just Have him be a reliever.
Because he would be. I mean, you saw him in the World Baseball Classic. You got your boy against your boy,
Yeah.
and your boy
Trout being
won.
Trout. Trout being Trout. You know, no surprise there. But
Oh man, I knew that didn't look good. And I mean, here comes this guy coming in fire. What is he throwing, like 102 right there?
yeah,
In
that's insane, man.
gosh.
I just look at Ohtani. I was like, man, how do you do that? But I mean, if I knew he was gonna go off this year or last year, I knew it.
Yeah.
He like
Yeah.
whenever he like the the first year when he got his first Tommy John, I
Yeah.
think like a week later he hit for the cycle. Like he's nuts. I don't think people
Oh
realize
yeah,
that.
because then he's just focused on hitting.
Yeah, like he turns into a different animal.
Yeah.
Like he like I think somebody on MLB Network said it perfectly. Like he when he knows like he's just like he's insane. Like he's incredible, and like I knew he was gonna go off this year. Like
Yeah.
I knew he was gonna steal that many bags, especially with the new rule. Like he's
Oh
nuts.
yeah. I still hate those rules, man.
Yeah, for sure. It's so easy to steal now.
Yeah. And then of course, in the playoffs he gets thrown out twice, and the second time they
Oh my
also
god!
threw out his shoulder.
I got scared when he got hurt. I got scared.
And I was like, oh. And then he comes into that, was it game 3, and he's got his arm like he's tucking it
Yes,
up in a sling.
that
And
guy scares me all the time. I love that guy. I'll never hate him. But whenever he like, there's this thing that he does like when he slides or like when he's about to get hurt, he'll like kind of like move really quick, and it scares me.
mm,
Like he did it sliding into second in the World Series. Scared the shit out of me.
yeah. Yeah. It was it was obviously
Yeah.
and I look at it and I still don't see it as much. I didn't see the pressure. I didn't see that pressure where he kind of jammed it in, but I don't know. Maybe it's just my old eyes. All right. Okay. Angel fan. Do you think they will retire Shohei's number?
The Angels?
Yeah. Two
Yeah.
MVPs.
100%.
They better.
Yeah.
I hope they do.
Yeah, they're gonna retire his number.
Okay.
1000%.
Okay, good.
Now the question is, when he goes into the Hall of Fame, is he wearing a Dodger or Angels?
I think it depends on how long he plays. I mean, if he fulfills his contract with the Dodgers and has the better numbers, or at least is good.
He's gonna go in as a Dodger, and it's gonna break my heart.
Yeah, well, I've had that. We had, like with Mike Piazza. Like,
Yeah.
gosh. That was our dude, man.
Yeah.
We had it with Pedro Martinez, man. That guy was ours.
Yeah.
And
you,
then
you know what? I was
they'll
when
trade
Vladdy got elected into the Hall of Fame, I was so scared. I thought for sure he was gonna choose the Expos. For sure, and I was like, dude, there's no way you can't. Your best years were with the Angels. When
They
you
were.
won, you were with the Angels.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we gave you everything. I feel like you started out good, but you blossomed when you were an Angel.
Yeah, he
know?
that put him in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I mean, those types of
Yeah, that's why like your best years were with the Angels, and I feel like it's gonna be the same thing with Ohtani. Like like you were good with the Angels, but your best years were with the Dodgers.
Yeah, I'm hoping, obviously.
Yeah.
And he
I just really want him to see it. I really want him to. I want him to win like 20 games.
I'd like to see someone
Dude,
win
one
20
thing
games.
I love when he pitches.
Yeah.
Have you been to a game when he pitches?
I missed so many times. Like,
Dude,
I
go to a game.
I was getting set up to
Go to
go,
a-
and it's like always injured or
Yeah. You got to go to a game and go to the bullpen. The bullpen's nuts.
yeah.
It's
Oh
insane.
gosh, I'm imagining that right now. Dude,
It's
the
like
locker room.
it's insane.
How
Like,
many Japanese people with number 17 are on their backs going to be out there?
it's nuts.
5
Like
million.
it's crazy. Like it's gonna be packed, jam packed. Like
Yeah.
I think there's like the season seat holders in that area. It's just the numbers just went up.
Yeah.
It's gonna be packed there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was already. I mean, it impacted the lower channels with our media passes.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
much more far and few between, and spring training gets tougher, and all that. It all adds up.
Yeah.
But gosh darn it, you can't compete with it.
You
I
can't.
mean, you
You
just
can't.
and it's Japan. It's great. I mean, they're now, and I hate the Dodgers going over to Japan for the series, but it's also it's all selfish reasons because of spring training being shorter and all that type of stuff for me.
Yeah.
So I get selfish with that. But when you think about it, hey, you might have game one, Imanaga versus Yamamoto,
Yeah.
and then you also got Ohtani in the lineup and Suzuki,
Yeah.
and then maybe Roki Sasaki, I was ready to call him Suzuki. Sasaki, maybe he throws a couple innings here and there in
Yeah.
game two, or maybe gets the start. I don't know if they would do
Yeah.
that. Um,
Hey, Kershaw's not on the roster anymore, huh?
he will be.
He will be.
Yeah. What they're doing with him is he's going to be a Dodger, but they have a very full roster. When spring training starts, they gotta put guys like River Ryan, Gavin Stone, Kyle Hurt, and all that on the 60-day IL, which frees roster spots up, and so that's when he'll sign. He did that last year, so yeah,
Yeah, 'cause I don't know why I thought he had a 2-year deal with them, or it was like a club option for 2025 or something like that.
he did. I think the club. So what the club does with Kirsch, they ask him, "What do you want us to do?" And they'll do it. That's the type of relationship that they have, and that's respectable. They
Yeah.
go, hey, you're Kirsch, you're a Hall of Famer, you're going to go in the Hall of Fame as a Dodger. We want you to play the rest of your career. What do you need from us?
Yeah.
So like they had many opportunities to give him qualifying offers during his free agency. They never did it because they said we want you to be as flexible as you want to be. So and they kind of did that with Walker Buehler. They gave him a little bit of
Yeah.
that.
I love Walker Buehler.
I do too. Oh.
I can't believe or not they, but he went somewhere else. But I think next year he'll be back if he has a great year.
I hope so. Walker Buehler is one of those guys. Well, I mean, is a guy that I follow. Following the minors and work covering those guys. I don't like losing the guys that we raised.
Yeah.
And Bueller's gone. Gavin Lux is gone. There's
Yeah.
very little left. I mean, in 2020 in their World Series, the roster. Remember, it was all the pandemic and stuff. The roster was at 28 for the World Series. Half of them were homegrown. Now it's like 6 in the World Series this year, I think it was.
Yeah.
So that we're kind of losing a little bit with that. Part of it, though, of course, they would have had a lot more pitchers on, but they all broke.
Yeah.
It was what three young guys in the majors blew their arms out with Tommy John. It was like, oh, suck. And then Stone had it in his shoulder. I mean, you guys lost Sandoval.
Yeah, we cut ties with a lot of guys, but Sandoval, I mean, he was going to be out for most of the year.
Yeah.
With Tommy John. We lost Canning, but Canning wasn't great either. But I mean, a lot of our pitching is not great either. So I mean,
Do you think they'll sign Flaherty?
No.
No.
I think the Angels are done
Really?
we're done. I think they're fine on what we have, and I think they're gonna sign a couple guys like the Tim Andersons and stuff like that for depth part, for like spring training roster spots for like the A and B squad, stuff like that, little fillers. But for the most part, I think we're done. I think this year is gonna be like just a rebuild. I mean, we're in the we've been in the. I think the last 2 years, I can actually say, the Angels are in a rebuild. Prior to that, they would get these they would get these guys and try to go all in without just rebuilding. You know what I mean? Now it's like, okay, we actually have a young core. We have Ohapi, Zach Neto, Nolan Shonowell, um, Joe Adell, Mickey Moniak. We have all these young guys, and I think they just want to, okay, well, let's just stay pat. Let's just not spend any money. Let's see what these young guys got. Bring in a couple of veteran guys like Liam Hendricks, Dustin Darno, Jorge Soler. You know what I mean? To kind of like, like these are big league guys who can help, but we're not going to be relying on these guys. We're going to be relying on the young core for development, player development. So that's what I think the Angels are trying to do, especially with Christian Moore coming up. And I really think they're waiting for that Rendon contract to just. I mean, our hands are really tied. We don't have like an ownership group like the Dodgers, where it's just one guy, and that guy doesn't like to spend either.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we'll see with the Angels.
Well,
Playoffs,
I mean, one of
probably
the
not,
one of the things I see with them though, if they're out of it, they could trade Darno and Soler and get something good for them.
Yeah.
I think those are both players that a lot of teams could use.
Yeah, you're definitely gonna see like Luis Rengifo on the trade block.
Oh, that's right, free agent, former Dodger.
Yeah.
Briefly.
Yeah, you're gonna see Taylor Ward on the trade block. A lot of guys who have like that those arbitration years or stuff
Right,
like
they're coming up to free agency now, right?
Yeah. Or who has like 1 year left of team control or 2 years left of team control. Like those guys are going to be on the trading block, especially when it's like we have guys in the minors who are performing.
Yeah.
Granted, our farm is not great, but we still have guys. We're confident in that. That I feel like they can, develop and be at the major league level.
Well, then the other news is, of course, in 2026, the Angels low A team is at Rancho.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy, huh?
Yeah.
Back. I mean, I don't understand why they did that. I mean, I think it was just because of because the Modesto Nuts are losing their field, right?
So now they'll have 4 in the northern and 4 in the southern, and it's all really tight too because the furthest one is Elsinore. So you'll have, what is it? Mariners will be in San Bernardino.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have the Padres in Elsinore, the Dodgers in Ontario, and then just down the street will be the Quakes.
Yeah. Should be fun though. I don't know which one I'm gonna do yet. I'm kind of leaning towards the Dodgers. Just because I kind of I was kind of talking to somebody today. I like covering the Dodgers. I feel like the Dodgers are just a little bit more exciting. Yeah,
Then you can still be a fan of the Angels. Then you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like it's like I don't know. There's like this saying where it's like or like don't meet your heroes or something like that. So, something along those lines. Or you know what I mean? Like I want to work for the Angels for sure. Don't get me wrong about that. But it's like, what if it's not like everything I want? Everything it is.
Yeah.
Or what I think it is. You know what I mean? Like I have a pretty good relationship with the Quakes and the Dodgers, and I like it. I like the players. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean those are big questions as 2026 rolls around. So are you locked in for the Quakes again?
Yeah, I'll be there this year.
Very good.
Should be fun.
Yep.
Content's gonna be great.
As always.
Yeah, so I'm excited. I'm curious to see what major league guys head down to Rancho this year.
Oh gosh, yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see.
It's going to be even crazier in 2026 because that's one of the reasons they're building that place is they'll have a better place for their rehabbing players.
Oh yeah, and I think it's because of Ohtani.
Probably.
You know what I mean? Like God forbid that he gets hurt. I don't wish that he injury on a guy, but that the media attention, the the traction that guy brings,
Yeah.
incredible. You know what I mean? Like I don't
Yeah.
think Rancho would, because there were talks where Ohtani was going to come down and do a rehab start for the Angels when he was on the Angels, and it
Right.
was going to happen at Rancho, but there was no capacity to hold him there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I
Yeah. I
mean,
mean, we've had it. It was tough enough when Kersh was there.
oh yeah, I know. And imagine Ohtani, that'd
Oh.
be nuts.
Yeah, it becomes like the Beatles, right? It was
Oh yeah.
Screaming Girls and all that. Kershaw comes like, "Hey, Kersh."
Hmm.
Otani's like, "Oh my gosh, Otani's on," you know?
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah, it's crazy.
Absolutely insane. But well, I'm looking forward, obviously, to 2025. But one person who will be missing there in 2025, we lost Bobby Cuellar today. Bobby was a all around pitching coach, not just with Rancho, but he went all around. You and I had a couple interactions with him. You told me a little bit about what he called you. What did he call you?
Yeah, he called me whenever. So whenever I seen Bobby, he would always. I'd walk around the corner of the dugout. He'd see me and be like, "What's up, Pistol Pete? Pistol Pete, come here to take photos today, Pistol Pete." So that's one thing I always remembered about him. Um, yeah, it sucks. I mean, when I seen the post, I thought he had won an award, and then I clicked on it, and then I just started to read, and I'm just like, man, this sucks. You know, because he like I could just tell he loved the game.
Yeah.
Just like he would just like sit there. I would be in the dugout with him, and he would just be on the railing. And one thing he I'll never forget. He was like, "Man, I love seeing the players take ground balls. I love it."
Yeah.
He told me that. Like, I mean, I feel the same way. Like, I can watch ground balls all
Mm-hmm.
day. Just the sound of it, like the ball hitting the glove, the ball hitting the bat. Like, I love that sound. And I when he told me that, I was like, man, this guy just loves the game. He just loves being around. He doesn't care if he's just like in the dugout or in center field shagging some baseballs during BP. But yeah, that guy loved baseball.
Yeah, for sure. I had a couple interactions with him, and I asked, I just went up and go, what's your name? I'm Tim Rogers, Dodgers twin. He goes, I'm Bobby Cuellar. I go, wait, oh wait, I heard of you. So he did play in Major League Baseball a
Yeah,
long,
no, yeah,
long
he did.
time
Yeah,
ago, but I remember the name. Either from him being, he was on one of those rookie cards, what he had four guys on it. I believe he was on one of those. And I remember that. And I remember him coming up in trade rumors and things like that. So, but I remember the name, and then it's like, wow. And he was a real friendly guy. I remember him kind of getting into it. Remember Nick last year?
yeah,
He got into it talking about basketball and talking about LeBron James and this. He was talking about how the Celtics, because they used to win all the time back
yeah,
in the day when he was younger, and so that was he kind of went back and forth with Nick. It was kind of fun to watch because you got Bobby, who's probably in his 70s,
yeah,
late 70s probably, and Nick, he's like 21, 22, right?
yeah,
and that was fun to see that interaction, to see him interact. But yeah, he was a good dude. Really sad to see him go. Again, not a ton of interactions with him, but he was a person that we'll miss, obviously. And man, just as a reminder, you see some of these older guys out there, folks, say hi to them because you never know who you may run into. Like right at Rancho, we see Charlie Huff there all the time.
yeah,
Charlie's in his 70s. Fans, if you see him, say hi to him. He will appreciate it. Ask for his autograph. He won't mind it. You see guys like that, just say hi to him. You know, you just never know because
yeah.
all those guys are so friendly.
Yeah, 100%. And like to piggyback off of that, like with I'll never forget going to Tyler Skaggs' last home start as an Angel,
Oh gosh. Oh
and then
man.
literally a week later,
Yeah.
I see it like, and like I would always be down there at the rail, and he would always like say hi to me. He knew my name. I know his wife.
Jeez.
I know the mom and dad, and it was just it was heartbreaking. So
Right.
like you said, just say hi to somebody, make somebody's day, because you never know. You gotta appreciate everybody.
Yeah, and just like we said earlier, they're just humans.
Yeah,
And some of the older players, they like to be remembered. They
Yeah.
like to hear those things. I remember we were talking to Charlie Huff in 2021, and I hope we have him for a lot more time. But I still remember, Gavin Stone had started at San Bernardino in 2021. He was their opening day guy, and Charlie Huff and I were waiting to get in. This was during all the COVID crap, right? So we were waiting to get into the ballpark. They wouldn't even let him in yet. So I'm hanging out with Charlie Huff, guy that I grew up watching, and we're chatting a bit. And I go, "Hey, what are your thoughts on Gavin Stone?" He just goes, big smile. He goes, "Yeah, Gavin Stone, man." He was just really he just had that big smile about him, but it was just fun to talk to him. And
Yeah.
they like to be remembered, and it's fun. It's great to remember them. They're it's like I said, they're human,
Yeah.
and they have, if you start talking with any of these guys, you're gonna hear great stuff.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, geez, I actually, I ran into at the World Series, I ran into Blake Gallen or
Really?
Galen. Yeah,
Yeah.
at Game 5. I talked to him before the game
Quite
started.
right.
Just chatting with him a bit, and that was cool to see. And I got a text during the game from Peyton Martin. He because they were way out in the sticks. "Hey, you here?" "Yeah, yeah, I'm here."
Nice.
Yeah, so it's a good group. When you go out to these Rancho games or any of these low A games, go meet the guys. Don't just go and bring your autograph book with 20 cards in it. Just bring one. Say hi to them. If you got kids, introduce them to your kids. Take a picture with them. All that type of
Yeah.
stuff. You'll because someday they may remember you.
Yeah.
Like you
Down the
said,
line. Yeah.
Tyler Skaggs. He remembered you.
Yeah.
So, well, on that note, and remembering some of these Tyler Skaggs and Bobby Cuellar, and rest in peace to both of them. We still remember Tyler Skaggs. That was bad. That was just a rough time for baseball. And
Yeah.
I know still I see that guys like Jack Flaherty and Max Fried
Yeah.
still pay tribute to him, which is really
Mhm.
neat. But on that note, I really appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you heading out to enemy territory.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah.
Dodger Stadium, and
Yeah.
Pete and I will be out there at FanFest. It looks like. I mean, that's the plans right now. Hopefully, we both get the passes that we desire, and we'll be killing it out there, or doing well. Pete will be killing it. I'll be just hanging out. I don't know, trying to stay warm as an old man. But yeah, we'll get some stuff. We'll be able to, hopefully interview a couple players, and hopefully you get a chance to talk to Dave Roberts, because
Yes, sir.
he's a guy that you really want to talk to. So cool, man. Well, thanks, Pete. I appreciate you, man. And we will talk to you later.
Yes, sir.
Doyers.
Hey, this is just a quick little recording to talk about memberships. So there is little ways to get extra content on the channel. What you'll be getting from me, at least initially, because there's only one small little 1 month for 99 cents. You will get any videos I put out. I will be putting out 2 versions of it. One will be for members only, that will run no ads. And then the other ones will run ads. Just the way it is. And then there will be, when I have videos, I'm going to put them right out as soon as possible to the members. And then they'll go out normally to the general audience. So that's what I'm looking for. I will also be doing special member messages, and we'll see what else happens with that. But we'll be looking for growing the membership, and with those members, I will be looking for their input. And if we can get enough members, then we'll do things like members only giveaways and more different types of content, things like that. So I'm just pushing it a little bit, see what happens with that. If I don't get much traction, then we'll try something else. But that's it. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day or night. And as always, God bless. Go Dodgers.